You were never taught to receive. And that is the actual reason you're exhausted doing the exact work you were made to do. Not because the work is too much. It's because you have never once let it come back to you the way it's supposed to. Maybe you're the one who does the free session just this once. And it's just this once, 50 times over. I know because I've been there. Or maybe you're the one who underquotes, then over delivers. And you make up for the low price, so you end up giving even more for even less. Or maybe you flinch, actually physically flinch when someone compliments your work and you deflect it before it's even landed, or even compliment yourself. I used to do that. Or maybe you've built real skill, real training, real results for people, and you still hear yourself saying, I'm not charging what the big names charge. And if that's a virtue instead of a wound talking, if any of that is you, I want to take you somewhere. Most people won't go on camera because I think you need to hear where this actually comes from. Not just told to charge more. I left school, 16, no qualifications, married at 17. I was a single parent by the age of 24. And for 26 years, raising two amazing lads, entirely on my own, well, I went back, got a degree, then a master's, while building not one, but two businesses completely from nothing. In fact, it was three businesses. Nobody in my family had ever done anything like that before me. I was the first. And I did it the hard way, because the hard way was the only way that I'd ever seen modelled to me. And here's what that kind of upbringing teaches you. Underneath everything else you learn, it teaches you to give, to provide, to keep going regardless of what you've got left in the tank, because there is no one coming to fill it back up for you. It does not teach you how to receive. And nobody ever sat down and showed me what it looks like to let something come to you without earning it 3 times over first, without exhausting yourself to deserve it. So when I moved into this work, into spiritual work, healing work, of course I underpriced it. Of course I did. Yeah? I used to give sessions for £5 and even free. And I'd even throw in homemade soup and the best bread and butter I had in the house, on top of generally changing someone's life for 45 quid. I was giving away years of training, real transformation for less than a takeaway cost. And I told myself that was a generosity. It wasn't generosity. It was the exact same old wiring, dressed up in spiritual language. Give, give. Prove your worth through output. Never let yourself actually receive, because receiving felt dangerous or undeserved, or like tempting fate that had already taken enough from me once. But here's what actually happened energetically, and I want you to really hear this part. The client feels that energy before they feel your gift. Not consciously. They couldn't tell you what's off. But something in their nervous system registers it. And if you're undercharging, over-delivering, apologising for your price before they've even questioned it, they sense it on some level. They do. And that you don't fully believe you're worth what you're asking. And that repels the exact people who could actually afford to work with you properly. And while it attracts the people who will drain you dry and never quite value what you gave them, it's just how it works. You cannot pour from a field that was trained from childhood to give everything and expect nothing back. It's not possible. You'll hit the wall every single time. 3 burnouts. Trust me. Because we call it burnout, when really it's just years of unpaid withdrawal finally catching up with your energetic account. And I've spent over £400,000 sterling now on my own training, my own development, chasing, looking for. Not because I needed more information. I promise you, at certain times, it stops being about information because at some level, I was still learning how to let myself receive, how to invest in myself the way I'd only ever invested in everyone else, my clients, my sons, my business, everybody but me. And it's really interesting that I had a client today and I could see the patterns so clearly. And just turning that receiving, that over-giving, just turning it and putting it back onto yourself. Boy, is that a good feeling. And you can see the energy shift within the person. It's beautiful to watch. And just like 400k I've invested. And that number used to embarrass me to say out loud. Never say it because I want you to understand something. Learning to receive is not a weekend fix. It took me years and a huge amount of money and a huge amount of energy work and a huge amount of spiritual work. Even done masters in psychology and what have you to try and understand it, to actually rewire it. And if it's taken you time too, that doesn't mean to say you're doing it wrong. So here's what actually moves this. In practical terms, it's not just insight. First, you have to become what I call the hollow bone. And that means you let things move through you rather than trying to hoard or block them. Giving out or receiving back. Be in flow, not in one direction only. Stop yourself. When you have that over-giving, when you're just over-giving, stop yourself. Ask yourself, are you coming from lack or are you coming from love? Because most of us are giving out constantly. But it's coming from patterns, hidden patterns that we are trying to, I don't belong, I'm not worthy. So we're blocking the receiving side without even realising what we're doing. So second, test your market in small increments, yeah? You don't need to triple your prices overnight. That's not what I'm telling you to do. Just raise the numbers. What I did. Raise the number in small, deliberate steps. Watch who stays. Watch how it feels in your body. Not just your bank balance. And third, and this is the part almost nobody does properly, you stop explaining the price. The moment you justify it, soften it, apologise for it, you've told the client's unconscious exactly what you told yours a second ago. And I'm not sure I'm worth this either. Say the number. Let the silence sit. Don't fill it. People know what my number is. And I say it with so much confidence now because I do know my value. I've got a lot of wisdom, a lot of skills. Yeah? And there's a traffic light system that I teach my practitioners. And it applies here too. Notice what colour, what denseness you are when you quote your price. Does it feel like it's tight, it's bracing? There's a readiness to it. Red, it's ready to justify it. Amber, it could hesitate, but it's holding. Green is settled. You've said it plainly. You've let it land. And you stick with it. You're silent. And if you're consistently in red or amber when you talk about money, that's not a pricing problem. That's a receiving problem. And pricing is just where it shows up. Money's great for showing you things like this. You already have the gift. You proved that a long time ago. Probably by giving it away for free more times than you can actually count. What you don't have yet, not fully, is permission to receive for it. And permission is not something someone else can give you. I can't give you it. Your community can't give you it. You have to build it. The same way I had to, small increments, by small increment, until receiving stops feeling like tempting fate and starts feeling like the natural exchange it's always supposed to be. And if a specific number just came into your head while I was talking, the number that you know you should be charging and aren't, that's not random either. That's the field telling you exactly where to start. And if you've spent years giving your gift away and calling it generosity, this is your sign to stop. Because rehearsing that story and actually shifting it, I can help with that. Book a call. Links below. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.